run into problems when you go to a campsite and there's only 30 amps. 30 amps is okay to run one air conditioner, your refrigerator, TV, and maybe throw a coffee pot in. But when it starts getting beyond that, or you need a second AC, the second AC, it's not enough to hold the load.
We're Dave and Karen from Watts on Wheels, and we sold our sticks and bricks to RV full-time now that we are retired. We travel with our heavy-duty truck Leroy, our 2 K&N motorcycles, our DRV Dixie, and our smart car Zippy. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell to be notified when we post a new video.
If you had both ACs running, even with easy starts, on 30 amps, at least my 2 ACs, they're Dometic Penguins, and both of them pull 15 amps, 15 amps when they're running. So even with the soft starts on 30 amps, I can get them both running. But, I mean, it's right there at 30 amp max, and it's pinging on it, and I'll show you.
So you can't use your microwave or toaster or coffee maker and that kind of stuff at the same time?
Can't use anything.
Okay.
All right, so right now we're at 30 amps. And I have the front AC running, and it's pulling 14 amps, and that's all I have running. The refrigerator shut off and everything. So then I'll go to zone 1, and I'll turn on the AC, and we'll see what happens. It'll be a couple minutes. There it goes. Okay, just the fan running, it's boosted it up to 17 amps. On the second AC, the compressor hasn't kicked in yet, and both of them have easy starts on them. There goes the compressor on the second one. Alright, we're at 28, 29, and 30. It's going to bounce around, and a lot of times on a real hot day like today, it'll cut off the front AC unit because it's drawing too much power.
But as soon as you turn the refrigerator on, or your lights on or TV on, it's going to kick out which one?
It'll kick out the front, the bedroom air conditioner.
Okay, so what's your solution?
Well, I've shut the living room AC off, so you see it's dropped back down to 14. So my solution to the whole problem is that I've yet to be to a campsite that has a 30 amp pull and not a 20 amp plug next to it. And so my solution is to run a cord from that 20 amp plug and isolate the living room air conditioner / heat pump and all that. So when I'm at a campsite, I can plug the 20 amp in, the 20 amp outlet into just that AC unit and plug the 30 amp into the rest of the coach.
Then you'd have plenty for your TV, microwave, refrigerator.
Exactly, water heater and all that, and I could live basically pretty close to like I'm on 50 amps.
And you could do that in the wintertime if you need the, if you want to run your heat pump.
If you want to run the heat pump too.
Versus your propane furnace.
Right. So my solution is I put this, here I'll show you. This is just a test here to make sure it happened. I put a selector switch in, right here.
Explain it to us, Dave.
Well, what we have here is the air conditioner reconfiguration, and this slide is just shows you the way that it's as it is from the factory. How the 50 amp, this is a 50 amp connection where it comes down, goes in electrical management system to the breaker box, to AC in the bedroom and AC in the living room. The changes that are made is we added a selector switch and an exterior 120 volt 20 amp RV plug to the exterior of the coach, and this switch is connected to the living room AC, which has now been, this part of the wiring has been deleted from the breaker box. The 50 amp hookup, the switch in position 1 acts like a normal setup. So this is the layout here. The power comes down into the EMS box, goes to the breaker box, which also powers the AC, and it'll come this way, and it'll come around, and this switch here is closed, and the switch heading to this plug that we installed is now open. So no power can come in from there, and it'll go up and power your AC. Alright, so this is the 30 amp in position 0 on the switch, where you have the 30 amp pole, and what it does, what the power will do is come down the 30 amp line, but it won't be able to go this way because in the 0 position all these switches are open, the 6 switches in the selector switch. So what you end up with is there's no power coming down this way and no power going this way. You just have the AC bedroom air conditioner working, and this is kind of a safeguard here when you switch between 1 and 2 to make sure all the switches are open.
So you wouldn't even need to bother for plugging in a plug over here?
No,
you
you don't even have to bother with that. Moving on to the next, in position 2 on the switch, what that is a 30 amp hookup with a 20 amp hookup. And so what happens here is if you're at a 30 amp campsite and it has a 20 amp plug next to it, a regular 110 plug, you get the 30 amps coming in and it'll power the AC in the bedroom plus, whatever else you have in your coach that, is plugged in, coffee pot, television, what have you. But with the AC in the living room has been separated from this power box by the switch. So on position 2, you plug it in here and it'll travel around here, come in through the exterior plug, go through this switch here, pick up the AC here. But the power can't come from here, because if it did, it would knock you over the 30 amps on the pole. So that's cut off there. Right here by this part of the switch is open now. So it's like being plugged in on 50 amps. Basically, you can live almost like you're on 50 amps that way.
Because you get the AC in the living room completely separate on a separate plug, not associated with the breaker box.
Right. The AC in the living room has now been separated from the coach's electrical box. My wife made these slides. If you have any problem with it, here's her phone number. The first thing I did is I found out that the living room air conditioner, which is these 3 leads right here, was independent of the power management system, which is right there.
Which it needs to be able to do this, right?
Yeah, right, because the other air conditioner is on this management system.
How did you determine that it wasn't?
A lot of testing.
Oh, like what?
Well, just by turning this breaker off, because that's the one that's the living room, and then running the system, and then when the system's running fine and the bedroom air conditioner system was running, I'd flip this breaker back on, and then boom, it would trip.
So you just kept testing the breakers till you figured it out?
Right. And then I figured out which line went to what air conditioner.
And how did you figure out which lines went to that particular breaker?
Went in there, looked at them, and tracked it down, and followed them.
So the ones with the yellow caps are the ones that go to that?
Go to the air conditioner.
Which go to that breaker on the right?
Right. Exactly.
So they're all crimped up underneath there somehow to be coming out in the middle.
Right. They all come out in there in these terminals down here. And then the black line goes up into the breaker.
So you removed the ones they were attached to, those screws down there, and you removed them and put those caps on them.
And what I did is I put a power lead on these to the air conditioner. Not a power lead, but a wire. And it comes up right here. The black, the white, and the green all come up to here, these 3 leads. And then I wide them off and put them on this side of the switch and this side of the switch. The way the switch is worked up right now. These 3 leads right here will become the power to the air conditioner. These 3 leads are these 3 leads here.
You ran them through the wall here.
Right, through the back of the box up to the wall.
Okay.
And they go into the switch, and those are going to be the power to these terminals here and this breaker. If you put it on switch number 1, The power will come in these leads and go out these leads here and go down and come onto the air conditioner, these 3 leads.
Okay.
And that's the power coming in from the box down here. Now, with the cord plugged in the side of the wagon, I don't have that wire in yet, but that one will come in here and go into these 3 top terminals. And then when the switch is switched to 2, the power will come out these top leads right here and down these wires and into this lead for the air conditioner. And it'll cut these off. It'll shut these off.
So, on the 0 position, what happens?
0 position, it cuts everything off. No power going any which way.
Okay, so 1, it operates like a regular format with a 50 amp?
If you're plugged into 50 amp, you turn that on 1. 30 amp, you'll go to 2, and then you'll put that extra plug in outside of it.
0, it won't operate.
Right. These 3 wires are these 3 wires right here.
Yeah.
The white one, the green one, and this black one. Which right here, there's a Y in each wire, so it goes to each side of this switch. And this switch just determines what power feed is going to feed these wires.
So what's this all about?
Well, this is going to be from this plug over here. This is the extra plug that goes into the pole, the 20 amp plug. The living room air conditioner is isolated on number 2. Put it on number 2, and the only way that air conditioner is going to work is if you have something plugged in right here. What I did is I cut a hole in the side of the coach right here, and it goes all the way through to the basement. You see my finger? And I'm going to put this little plug in here, right there, like that.
And you chose this location just because of proximity?
Proximity and accessibility.
Okay.
To get to everything.
But definitely this side, because your power's on this side.
Yeah, because the power is always on the left side. And that will power the AC in the living room by itself.
From the 20...
From the 20 amp outlet on the pole. Alright, there's the outlet. Affixed to the side of the coach with the 3 screws. And it's got the little flapper lid that seals it up.
Now there's a little red dot on there. What's all that about?
That's a circuit breaker.
Oh.
I put a 20 amp circuit breaker on it.
Oh, okay.
And I strung it along the top, and then down the side here, over the heat ducts and down that, and then I'll go up into the fuse box over there. Okay, I got the blue cable here, the flex conduit pulled through to the fuse box over here, or not to the fuse box, but near it. Comes up over here, and I got the wires coming in, hooked up to this terminal down here. And that's to the plug outside. So I was going to test it one more time with the tester, make sure I got it all hooked up right, and then I'll install the plate.
And we are now completed. Got your little switch in there, got all your stuff plugged in properly down there.
Yep, we are now. Both ACs are running on 30 amps.
Right now.
Right now, on position number 1, because all we have is 30 amps coming into the trailer. The only thing running are the 2 ACs. And we're bouncing between 28, 29, and 30 amps. That's it. So
Well, you don't have anything else on. You don't have a refrigerator or anything on.
That's all I have on.
Yeah.
Is the 2 ACs. And that's it.
So now if you want to use a microwave, turn the fridge on, TV or something, you would have to switch over. You are on number 1 right now.
Right now I'm on number 1.
So you'd have to switch over to number 2.
Right, if I wanted to put out the 20 amp line.
Right. That's the cord we're going to be using?
That's the cord.
So that's just, you know, like a regular household into the...
That goes into the
into
post.
the post, but not in...
And this goes into the RV. And this is 12 gauge cord. You don't want to go anything less than 12 gauge.
Okay. Why did you choose the living room to be the one that would be on the separate
Because the other one was tied into the power management system of the coach. and the one in the living room was not.
Okay.
So I decided that would be the best one
Easiest way to go.
to separate from the herd.
Dave's got his switch right here. You got it on 2. Currently the living room AC is running on the 20 amp plug at the post.
And it should be getting ready. There it goes. The fan's on, so it's up to 5 amps. There goes the compressor.
And it's on an easy start.
Yep. So it went up to 13 amps to easy start.
Wow, that's low.
Yeah, that's low for that one. They're dropping back down to 12, 13 amps. It'll stay around 13 amps. That's right.
So switch number 2, with both ACs running, you're just running 13 of 30 amps, so you could run all kinds of stuff
Yep.
along with that. It's like being on a 50 amp post hookup.
Almost.
So how much did the easy starts cost?
Easy starts were about $500
Together for 2?
for 2 of them.
And now that you discovered this for, what, about under $100?
Under $100, you really don't need the easy starts.
Oh, bummer.
Oh, bummer. So you can save yourself about $500 right off the top doing it this way.
But what about if you have a generator and you're boondocking?
If you got a generator and you're boondocking, then you want the easy starts because the generator won't handle the surge from the startup.
Yeah, so it's good for boondocking.
Good for boondocking.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below, even if it's just to say hi. Don't forget to subscribe.